So I wanted to build a swing out in the backyard because I looked at pictures. I looked at some on the internet, these cheap, crappy ones, and I didn't like them. They just looked too flimsy. So I wanted to build something substantial that was kind of cool. Came across that picture on the internet, decided to copy the design. So went out and bought some wood, had Miss Utility come by and mark the electrical lines, phone lines. There's just so happens that the phone line ran right next to where I was going to put one of the posts. So luckily, I was able to put the post where I wanted to and missed the line by a few inches. So you sand the post down, dig a couple holes. These holes are about 3 feet deep, maybe a little bit more. Put some drainage gravel. I didn't show that, but I put some drainage gravel at the bottom of each hole, a couple inches. Now it's time to saw the big ass beams and big ass posts. These are 6x6s, and I'm cutting off the top 1 foot because I'm gonna use these blocks later. So just use a circular saw. Blade can only go down so much, so I had to cut one side at a time and then turn it, cut some more. And then I actually had to finish it off with a hand saw, rip saw, to get it all the way through, cut through. There's the post in the hole, getting it nice and level. Got the support pieces of wood nailed on to help support it while the concrete dries overnight. I used regular concrete, not the fast setting stuff. And it took about 5 bags of concrete for each post. Got that in, 5 pound, that's 80-pound bags, by the way. And so got that in there, and then we sort of smoothed it out, try to make it so the water would run off away from the post. Everything is nice and level as it dries. Now it's time to cut out some curves for the pergola boards, the main boards. Just use some craft paper, drew a design, and then cut it out with a jigsaw. Here we have it. And it was time to cut out the little decorative pieces. Used a piece of 2x6x10 to do that. Got all the pieces cut out. Do some more sanding, get those edges nice and curved. And it was time to stain. Went with the color dark oak. Why? Because the swing was sort of that color. The wicker swing that we ordered to hang from this frame. So we tried to match the color. And there everything is drying, waiting to be put together. And the one post was a little taller than the other, so I had to cut that off a little bit and sand it down, get it nice and even. Then it was time to break out that big ass drill bit, drill on through all 3 pieces of wood, put some screws up there temporarily to hold the wood in place while we did these holes, and then pounded the carriage bolts in. Pounded them on in, put them at a diagonal so the wood wouldn't have any chance of splitting. And then fastened them with a nut and a washer on the other side. Later used an adjustable wrench to get them tighter. So there we are, far off shot. Everything's looking good, coming together. Got some bolts in there. Nice solid frame. Now I'm just screwing on the decorative pieces. They might add a little support, I don't know. They're mainly just decorative, I think. Now we're going to pre-drill some holes in the slats that are going to go up on top. And then I use a 2x4 spacer to evenly space them out and then drill them on in. Now that those blocks that were cut off from the big 6x6s, those are going to be used to attach the little swivel swing mechanism to. 2 more carriage bolts for those. And then more carriage bolts to attach that to the main beams. So altogether we used 8 carriage bolts. Some were a little different sizes depending on the size we needed. And screw that on in. And there it is. That's how it's looking. Nice and sturdy foundation there, structure. Put the little springy things on to add some balance to the swing when you first sit in it. And there's the original picture, and this is the way it turned out. Very similar. I'm pretty happy with the way it turned out. So now it's just time to get on the swing and kick back, enjoy life, think about happy time.